So you guys probably heard the news recently. It's literally everywhere around the internet right now, and it's for a good reason, because this is one of the biggest transactions in gaming history. Literally. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it's the biggest deal in gaming history. This is insane to say the least. Microsoft is sealing a $7.5 billion deal with Zenimax to own their titles and studios and pretty much just everything Bethesda related. So that means now officially Obsidian and Bethesda are going to be under the same roof again, thanks to Microsoft. Now, just because Microsoft is buying Zenimax doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to officially play Fallout 76 on your PlayStation. That's not going to be the case at all. If anything, that would hurt them majorly, and they just made a $7.5 billion deal once again. So Microsoft definitely has some big plans to continue these titles. Of course, they're just not buying out this and just being like, okay, that's it. See you guys later. It's been fun. No, they got some big plans for the future of Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom, everything Bethesda related. They're going to be investing major money into it because, after all, they just invested $7.5 billion to get this. So of course they're going to be wanting to keep it rolling. Microsoft definitely sees the possibilities that they have with all these great titles that they are now about to own. Like I mentioned before, technically now Obsidian and Bethesda are under the same roof once again. So there could be possibly a New Vegas 2 in the future. I mean, check out this, for instance. I seen this tweet, and it was from Obsidian. As you can see, they retweeted a tweet that they received about Fallout New Vegas 2. This person said, at Obsidian, so Fallout New Vegas 2 is a legit possibility now, right? And they just have the little guy with like, maybe, I don't know, could be. I have a feeling it definitely is though, and this is a hint. Could you imagine the amount of players that would flock to Fallout New Vegas 2, especially original Fallout players that have stuck with this franchise since the get-go? I mean, think about how long the Fallout franchise has been around alone. It's been over 20 years, hasn't it? Let me see exactly. When did the first Fallout release, real quick? Okay, so the first Fallout released October 10th, 1997. So yeah, the franchise has been around for 23 years now. Well, about 23 years. It'll be officially 23 when it hits October 10th. So pretty soon. But still, that is a long time in the gaming industry. Just imagine that. That is crazy. Imagine all of the people that have experienced Fallout over the years. Microsoft knows that and sees that as well. They know about their longevity in the gaming community. They have been around for a very long time, making bangers after bangers, classics after classics. That's the reason why they said, screw it, 7.5 billion? You down? You down, Zenimax? We doing this? And as you can see, Zenimax was just like, I guess so. Sheesh. But yeah, to be serious though, this is a no-brainer that Microsoft definitely has huge plans to keep these titles rolling. I'm sure we're probably going to be hearing in the near distant future some of their plans that they do have with this transaction that they're doing. For instance, they could be talking about some things that they're going to be doing for like exclusives possibly. I'm not saying that they're going to be making an exclusive Xbox game or something. I really don't see them making that move. I mean, it could be a possibility, but I really don't see them making that move. And the reason why is because they would lose money because they would have less sales. But I have a feeling they may have like an exclusive skin at the most for like Fallout or something. Maybe there will be like a Master Chief skin in Fallout 76, or heck, a Master Chief skin in Doom. I can definitely see that being a possibility. You see what I'm saying? They're probably going to have some exclusive deals like that. And they may have some timed plans too, where Xbox and PC may receive it sooner than Sony. Unfortunately, Sony is left out in the rain. I don't know what Sony's big plans are though as well, because if Microsoft is making these kind of moves, I'm sure Sony has to try to do something to kind of rebuttal what they're doing here, because Microsoft is majorly taking over the gaming community by owning Zenimax. I mean, there are so many classics that Zenimax owns, and Microsoft knows that and understands that. That's the reason why, once again, it's $7.5 freaking billion. Now, I do know Sony has a deal with Marvel. That's the reason why you see like Spider-Man games and whatnot over on PlayStation, but we don't see Spider-Man games on Xbox. So they got that rolling for them. You know, superheroes are extremely popular, especially in the movie industry. And that's what I honestly prefer. I prefer to just watch Marvel and DC as movies. I don't prefer them as games, but, you know, to each their own. I guess it honestly depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I might jam out on a Marvel game, but I prefer looter shooters and RPGs, and that's Bethesda all the way. So Of course, Bethesda titles are right up my alley. But yeah, enough about my thoughts over all this. Let me go ahead and get into what the developers are saying about this acquisition. Starting off with Todd Howard. And you can see Bethesda Game Studios posted this on September 21st, 2020, and it states here, Todd Howard on joining Xbox. As you can see here, it reads, I have had the pleasure of working with and partnering with many of the best gaming and tech companies in the world. But our longest and closest partner during my career has been Microsoft. And I have had the joy of doing it with some of the most talented, humble, and passionate people there are. They are a part of my family and my good friends. I have also had the pleasure of working with and partnering with many of the best gaming and tech companies in the world, but our longest and closest partner during my career has been Microsoft, like I just previously stated. Today we joined them, and I wanted to share some personal thoughts on what it means in our shared vision. The trajectory of Xbox and the trajectory of Bethesda in many ways have gone hand in hand. From our beginning, we had primarily been a PC developer. In 1999, two things happened. One, Bethesda became part of a brand new startup, Zenimax Media. And Microsoft started development of their first video game console, the Xbox. I can remember my first trip to Redmond to discuss the new system and bring our next game, Morrowind, to the Xbox. I was dubious Xbox Morrowind would be worth the time, somewhat on a technical level, but more so from taking hardcore RPG and moving it from a PC desktop experience to a controller and sofa experience. If we made it work, would people want it? Microsoft and their new Xbox crew had a view that I came to share completely. Shouldn't we allow anyone to have this experience? Why does it matter where the screen is or what the controller is? There are many people without the same access, and we can bring it to them. Morrowind would go on to become one of the best-selling Xbox games of all time, behind Halo and other PC-style games some said wouldn't work. Its success paved the way for the growth of our company and proved the point. People wanted this experience, regardless of the device. Microsoft quickly let us in on their next system, the Xbox 360. More than a PC port, our aim with our next game, Oblivion, was to usher in the next generation of gaming. With each game from Fallout 3 to Skyrim, our studio and company grew, adding brilliant and like-minded studios across the globe. All of us sharing the belief that expanding the reach of gaming was fundamental, whether it was on PC, console, your phone, or the cloud. With each new console cycle, we evolved together from bringing mods to consoles with Fallout 4, now with over 1 billion downloads, to the latest technologies fueling Xbox Series X and S. These new systems are optimized for the vast worlds we love to create, with generational leaps not just in graphics, but CPU and data streaming as well. It's led to our largest engine overhaul since Oblivion, with all new technologies powering our first new IP in 25 years, Starfield, as well as The Elder Scrolls 6. Like our original partnership, this one is about more than one system or one screen. We share a deep belief in the fundamental power of games and their ability to connect, empower, and bring joy. And I believe we should bring that to everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live, or what you play on, regardless of the screen size, the controller, or your ability to even use one. We can't think of a better group of people to do that with than those at Xbox. We have friendships that go back to those original days, from Phil to his senior leaders to developer support. They don't just talk about putting players first, they passionately live it. At Bethesda, we've been lucky enough to create games we love and have an audience who loves them as much as we do. I have personally been humbled by many industry honors I have received as they belong to the entire studio, but one has always stood out to me for a special reason. When I received the Lifetime Achievement Award at GDC, I joked in my acceptance, I wonder how many achievement points this one is worth. At the end of the ceremony, some good friends from Microsoft congratulated me and said they'd find out. A few months later, I was given a code to a game they had created, named after me, and locked only to my account. When ran, it unlocks a single achievement, Lifetime, 1,000 points. It still sits in my list when I check, and I smile every time. It has been a lifetime, but there's more to come and achievements to unlock together. We hope you join us. All the best. Todd. So pretty genuine right there. That was awesome. And it seemed like Todd doesn't want to separate the community. He wants to bring the gaming community together, and he thinks Microsoft are the right people to do it. So I don't think there's going to be like an exclusive Xbox Bethesda style game. I don't think that's going to ever be a thing. However, once again, I do think there might be some timed things going on, like you might get to play on Xbox and PC once again first before you can play on PlayStation. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out now what Pete Hines has to say about this whole transitioning, which he is the Senior Vice President at Bethesda for Global Marketing. And here's what he had to say. Today we are announcing we are joining the Microsoft family, and if you haven't had a chance to read what Phil Spencer and Todd Howard shared in their post this morning, be sure to check them both out. I'll be showing you all what Phil Spencer said. Let me go over what Pete Hines had to say first. As you can see, he says here, when you work at a place as long as I've worked at Bethesda, just a month short of 21 years, you see some things. Chief amongst them is change. When I started, Bethesda was not much more than a handful of people. The team working on Morrowind fit in a couple of offices, and there were probably 6 or 7 of us spread across everything else. Bethesda Softworks, our parent company Zenimax Media, and our many internal studios now employ thousands of talented people working and publishing offices and development studios around the world. We've gone from one internal studio to many, from a focus on single-player fantasy RPGs to developing massive MMOs, first-person shooters, and everything in between. The world, our industry, and our company has changed a lot in the 34 years since Bethesda Softworks was first founded. Today, it changed again. And I know that brings up questions. But the key point is we are still Bethesda. We are still working on the same games we were yesterday, made by the same studios we worked with for years, and those games will be published by us. So why the change? Because it allows us to make even better games going forward. Microsoft is an incredible partner and offers access to resources that will make us a better publisher and developer. We believe that means better games for you to play. Simply put, we believe that change is an important part of getting better. We believe in pushing ourselves to be better, to innovate, to grow. And we have a long history of working with Microsoft. Our companies share many of the same basic principles. We believe in a culture that values passion, quality, collaboration, and innovation. When I think back to the first time we decided to shift from being a PC-only developer and make Morrowind for the original Xbox, it was a move that countless people said would never work. Nobody on consoles wanted a game that big and complex, but Microsoft believed in us, and so did you. And now RPGs of all shapes and sizes are hugely successful on consoles. Yes, it's a big change for us, but after taking a minute to absorb the magnitude of this acquisition, we are going to continue doing what we know and love, making great games. We are going to keep trying new things, and we are going to take the same passion we poured into what we do, and the passion that our community brings to the things we make and do even better. And soon, the conversation will move on from this deal to talking about our games again. And I can get back to answering the questions that get us all excited. Tell me more about Deathloop. When can I see more Ghostwire? What's coming in Q4 for the Elder Scrolls Online? I want to see more of the Doom Eternal DLC. When the heck will you tell me about Starfield? I'm excited for those conversations and look forward to talking to you about all of that and much, much more in the weeks, months, and years ahead. I believe in the people I work with. I believe in the company we have created together. I believe in the communities that we have formed around the games we make. And I believe today's announcement is just the next in a long line of changes in our history that will lead to bigger and better games for all of us. Pete Hines. Man, this is some amazing news. It seriously is. And that right there is some clarification that we're going to be getting some more information in the next weeks, months, and years ahead. So they got some major plans to keep rolling out some information for us about all of this. Awesome. So lastly up here, let's go ahead and check out what Phil Spencer had to say. It states here, welcome the talented teams and beloved game franchises of Bethesda to Xbox. Critically acclaimed creators of the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Quake, Starfield, and more join Team Xbox. Today is a special day as we welcome some of the most accomplished studios in the games industry to Xbox. We are thrilled to announce Microsoft has entered into an agreement to acquire Zenimax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. As one of the largest, most critically acclaimed, privately held game developers and publishers in the world, Bethesda is an incredibly talented group of 2,300 people worldwide who make up some of the most accomplished creative studios in our industry across Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda Game Studios, ID Software, Zenimax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios. These are the teams responsible for franchises like The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Prey, Quake, Starfield, and many more. And now Microsoft is officially owning all that. It's just, man, these games are just going to get so much better. Anyways, Bethesda's games have always had a special place on Xbox and in the hearts of millions of gamers around the world. Our teams have a close and storied history working together from the amazing first Doom and its ID tech engine, innovating games on PCs, to Bethesda bringing their first console game to the original Xbox, the groundbreaking Morrowind. Over the years, I've had many deep conversations with the creative leaders at Bethesda on the future of gaming, and we've long shared similar visions for opportunities for creators and their games to reach more players in more ways. Just as they took the bold first steps to bring Elder Scrolls franchise to the original Xbox, Bethesda were early supporters of Xbox Game Pass, bringing their games to new audiences across devices, and have been actively investing in new game technology like cloud streaming of games. We'll be adding Bethesda's iconic franchises to Xbox Game Pass for console and PC. Oh, That is amazing. I had no idea about that until just now. That is awesome. And that makes total sense. Man, with the Game Pass alone, there's going to be so many new players continuing to hop on board. But anyways, going on here, it reads, one of the things that has me the most excited is seeing the roadmap with Bethesda's future games. Some announced and many unannounced, to Xbox console and PC, including Starfield, the highly anticipated new space epic currently in development by Bethesda Game Studios. Like us, Bethesda are passionate believers in building a diverse array of creative experiences and exploring new game franchises and in telling stories in bold ways. All of their great work will of course continue and grow, and we look forward to empowering them with the resources and support of Microsoft to scale their creative visions to more players in new ways for you. All of our work and the foundations of our relationship with you starts with a commitment to deliver a breadth of amazing games to discover and play on Xbox. Over the last few weeks, we've been excited to share more detail on important elements of a plan we've been building towards for years. A plan that is fulfillment of a promise to you, the Xbox player, to deliver the most performant, immersive, and compatible next-generation gaming experiences, and the freedom to play blockbuster games with your friends anytime, anywhere. Today is a landmark step in our journey together, and I'm incredibly energized by what this step means for Xbox. Please join me in welcoming all of our friends at Bethesda to Team Xbox. Amazing. Freaking amazing. So that right there is some even more good insights over all of this happening. I would love to know your guys' thoughts about some of this as well. Like I mentioned before, I think this is a great thing. And so does Pete Hines and Todd Howard, as you heard Pete Hines mention in his note to us. But yeah, I guess that's our wrapping up this video, everybody. Hopefully you found this news as good as I did. I will be making some other videos about this topic as well. And this one, I just wanted to casually talk about my thoughts over all this and what the developers had to say too. But yeah, I'm out of here. Thanks for taking the time watching and listening. Consider leaving a like on the video. That would be greatly appreciated. As always though, totally up to you. It just helps the YouTube algorithm of getting this more passed around on YouTube. And hey, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing too. Once again, totally up to you. I want to make that as clear as possible. Until next time though, everyone, remember to try to stay safe out there during these unusual times. Peace.